On this channel, we do a lot of talk about self-improvement, business, and money, but we don't do a lot of talk about how to improve our attitude towards it directly. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite 5 productivity tips which have allowed me to become far more productive and get better results out of everything I do in life. It doesn't matter if it's related to business or schoolwork or university work or something like that. These are tips that everybody can take and utilize. So if you enjoy videos like this, make sure to give it a like so I know to make more of this style, and of course share it with somebody who might need it. And please do subscribe, as we are trying to get to 200 subscribers on this channel. But let's get in. I'm going to jump in with my favorite tip of all here. And this is something which people often overlook, but it's all about picking the time that you work at. Traditionally, people have worked between the hours of 9 to 5, and that's just been something that people have to do. But as more people become self-employed, freelancers, or run their own business in some sort of a way, this doesn't always have to be the case. I say it on this channel whenever I talk about my businesses, I have never worked on my own businesses between the hours of 9 and 5, maybe between the hours of 6 and 10, as in 6 a.m. till 10 a.m, but between the specific hours of 9 to 5, that long period, I don't work in that time. And there's a big reason for that. For me, it just doesn't work. I want to be out in the sunshine, which from 9 to 5. I want to be out with my friends at university. As much as I could probably capitalize more on making money between the hours of 9 to 5, it just doesn't work for me. So for that reason, I'd be sat in the house bored, miserable, which would have a massive impact on my productivity because, again, I wouldn't be in a great space of mind. And on top of that, I wouldn't be able to get too much out of stuff because I'd be looking out the window all the time or wanting to go outside. It just wouldn't work. So for me, I work between the hours of normally between 10 p.m. and 2 or 3 a.m. And that might sound ridiculous, but if the end result is still the same, who's going to complain? Or even better, those are the hours where I feel the most productive. I never feel like I'm missing out on anything because the sun's gone down. Most people don't want to go out to hang out at that time. So for that reason, I'm fine. I work between those hours and that's what works best for me. So my point is, pick hours that work for you. If you have the option, pick the hours where you're most productive. It might be between 9 to 5. It might be between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m. It might be something else, but pick the hours that work for you and you probably get better results because you are doing stuff that is in your best interest. The next point that I would say is having time to do your distractive stuff. This one might sound a bit weird, and I'm not talking about the experienced pros here, but for people who are coming from a world of not having any time to actually directly work and always having distractions, to people trying to become less distracted, we're in a different position. So what I would say in that position is, if I was, say, listing some items on eBay or writing an assignment for university, I personally would say I'll have 20 minutes to write the assignment, I'd have 10 minutes to, watch YouTube, something like that. That way I feel like I'm working towards something, and I also actually prevent me going on a YouTube binge because I know what I'm doing, everything's set and structured. Between, say, 9 and 9:30 I'm writing the assignment, and then between 9:30 and 9:45 I'm playing on my phone. That's completely fine. Then for the next half an hour after that I'm going to work. By structuring it this way, we allow ourselves to have those little rewards, which does allow us to get a little bit of dopamine between, kind of associating good activities and good feelings with doing the work, or at least feeling like we're going to get something out of it. Because we don't always get a direct result or reward out of our work, but giving us this connection can make it feel like we are. Again, we can talk about reducing that afterwards, but for the early stages, it is better than not working at all, let's be honest. For the third tip, and this one's fairly obvious, it's about picking a place that works for you. I'm always told about how I should be revising in the library, or how I should find an office space to do my work. But if I'm comfortable doing my work in bed, why not do it there? I get the same results, if not better, because I don't have the distractions that are in the library. I'm at my house, it's quiet, it's warm, it's comfortable, and that is completely fine. So don't let people tell you that working in a certain place or a certain way is the way you should do it. Find the style, and again, going back to the earlier point, the style, the time, and the place that all works for you. These will massively help you to boost your productivity because you'll feel like you're doing something which works best for you, and that's what it's all about. Set out a structure of what you're going to do. Again, you've picked your time, you've picked where you want to do it. Now let's talk about what you're going to do. You can do this in a pre-arranged list or some sort of a diary or calendar, but make sure you know what you're going to do. If I use the umbrella term that I want to make a YouTube video in the next hour, that's a lot of work to do. But let's break it down. If I said that between, again, 9 and 9:25 I'm going to be filming, between 9:25 and 9:40 I'm going to be editing, and for the rest of the hour I'm going to be making the thumbnail. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing at that time. Setting this structure allows me to make sure that I stay on track, I know what I need to do, I know where I need to do it and how I need to do it, and in what time period it must be done. That ultimately prevents distractions from popping in because I know what I need to do, and it also keeps everything nicely on track and neatly organized, which people may struggle with when it comes to actually getting tasks together. It's something that I see so often. People, especially when it comes to things like university assignments, people say, oh, I've got this much to do, I've got that much to do. And I'm like, didn't you start the assignment like 3 or 4 weeks ago? And it's like, well, yes, but I was doing this and that. And that's why you need to make a list. Project management is a huge skill to have. Like, businesses literally employ people just to be project managers. If you can manage your projects properly, you'll get the best results out of them, you'll know what you're working towards, and you'll know when you should be scheduling that for. This is the best way to structure things, and having structure for things as a whole is definitely going to make you a lot more productive. And my fifth point would be comfortable with your distractions. Now this is going to sound like the strangest one on the whole list. What do you mean be comfortable with your distractions? Once we acknowledge them though, we know that they're there and we can take them on face value. Just like I said that we should take time to actually be distracted in a way just because it gives us something to look forward to, once we acknowledge our distractions, we can be more comfortable with them. Sometimes it's the overthinking on things directly which causes us the biggest problems. Things like the ticking clock in the corner, or things like the fact that a fly is buzzing around the room, or something annoying like that. These are the things that can distract us. But once we acknowledge what distracts us, we can think about ways to reduce the distraction from the item. We can easily phase out the sound of the clock, we can easily put our phone upside down so that we can't see the notifications coming in, and stuff like this. These are just some minuscule things which make us more comfortable in our environment. But once we acknowledge what we are distracted by, we can reduce it, we can understand what it is, why it distracts us, and then make sure that that's not the case anymore. So that's one of the things that people massively overlook. Now I'm going to give you a sixth point on this list. That's right, that's a bonus point, and this bonus point is a pretty simple one. Do things your own way. You've just watched a video talking about my ways that I would do things and how I am most productive, but let's be honest, this is what's worked for me. The way that I've done this is by working for it over years. Back when I was in primary school and secondary school, I was distracted all the time. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Even coming into college and university, I was still a bit distracted, but I found ways that worked for me. Turns out in school, the whole sit still method and work on a project for 2 or 3 hours didn't work for me. It probably doesn't work for you. And that's obviously just an over-exaggeration and a massively extreme case of how things work, because school is one of the most oppressive things, in my opinion, to like creative spirit and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that everyone's going to be working like that, but my point is more simple. We can talk about the best ways statistically to work, the most productive ways, but find a way that works for you. Again, if it's late hours, early hours, work in those. If it's doing stuff in small tasks but you get a lot done in that time, do it that way. Just find a flow that works for you. Everybody's different, everybody has their own methods, and whilst these are the tips that I will share with you that I've learnt, these are just my opinions. You will have your own, and you will find ways that work better for you. But with that being said, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like it and subscribe, and I'll see you in our next episode. But goodbye for now. See you soon.